Stress is a normal reaction to difficulties or dangers and is essential for survival. Prolonged or extreme stress, however, can have detrimental impacts on behavior and the brain. Stress is frequently classified as either acute or chronic in psychology. Because it improves attention and reaction speeds, acute stress is temporary and occasionally advantageous. But chronic stress is long-lasting and can have serious physiological and psychological effects. Developing techniques to control and lessen the negative effects of stress is made easier by an understanding of how stress affects the brain and behavior. The effects of stress on the brain. One of the key ways stress affects the brain is through the stimulation of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal (HPA) axis, which leads to the production of cortisol, the body's main stress hormone. While cortisol is crucial for responding to short-term stress, excessive or extended exposure to high cortisol levels can have harmful effects on brain areas such as the hippocampus, amygdala, and prefrontal cortex. The hippocampus is especially susceptible to stress since it is essential for memory and learning. Chronic stress can cause the hippocampus to atrophy, which can damage memory and make learning more challenging, according to research. For this reason, people who are under a lot of stress may find it difficult to focus and remember things. Stress causes hyperactivity in the amygdala, a part of the brain that processes emotions, particularly fear and anxiety. Because their brains become more sensitive to perceived dangers, those who have this increased activity may be more susceptible to anxiety disorders. Over time, this may result in increased emotional sensitivity, which will make it more challenging to properly control emotions. Stress also affects the prefrontal cortex, which controls impulses, makes decisions, and solves problems. Chronic stress can impair this region's ability to operate, which can result in poor decision-making, a lack of impulse control, and trouble with difficulties. This might be a factor in actions like substance misuse, hostility, and relationship problems. The effects of stress on behavior. The alterations in brain activity brought on by stress also have a variety of effects on behavior. Stress-related behavioral impacts include increased anxiety and irritation. Stress can make people more prone to being irritated, irritable, or withdrawing from social situations. Sleep habits are impacted by stress as well. It might be challenging to fall or remain asleep when cortisol levels are high because they disrupt the quality of sleep. Lack of sleep, in turn, makes stress worse, starting a vicious cycle that can be detrimental to one's general well-being. Sleep deprivation raises the likelihood of mental health conditions including depression, impairs cognitive function, and reduces emotional regulation. The effect that stress has on motivation and productivity is another behavioral consequence. Excessive stress frequently results in burnout, when people feel physically and psychologically worn out, although mild stress can occasionally enhance performance by boosting attention and energy. This may lead to a decline in motivation, a loss in productivity, and a higher probability of procrastination or avoidance behaviors. Additionally, harmful coping strategies like drug misuse, social disengagement, or overeating might be brought on by stress. In the long term, these habits can exacerbate stress levels and cause more health issues, yet many people use them as a short-term stress reliever. Conclusion: stress has a significant effect on behavior and the brain, affecting everyday routines, emotional control, and cognitive abilities. In some circumstances, temporary stress may be advantageous, but prolonged stress can have detrimental effects on the body and mind. Knowing how stress impacts the brain might help people reduce its negative consequences by using healthy coping mechanisms including physical activity, mindfulness, and social support. Effective stress management is essential for preserving mental health and general quality of life.